Hello, welcome back. Right, okay, as you can see from the title, today's video is a comparison of the ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC 464 and Commodore 64 versions of Dan Dare, Pilot of the Future. That's the Commodore 64 loading screen. It's really nice. The thumbnail of the video is the Spectrum loading screen, which is one of the best Spectrum loading screens there is. The game was released in 1986 by Virgin. All three versions are programmed by a gang of five. I'm not sure if there are any other versions for other machines, and the aim of the video is to show you the similarities and differences between them, and there are some massive differences from version to version, and we'll have a look at those as we go through each one. Running order: Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore 64. Now Dan Dare, of course, was a character in Eagle comic, which was very, very popular in the 50s and 60s. It was discontinued for ages, and then it was brought back by in about 1981 or something like that, and of course I used to buy it every now and then. The Dan Dare comic strip was, you know, one of Britain's best loved ones, basically. Detailing he's basically the saviour of the earth against the machinations of the evil Mekon, some fat-headed space bugger who constantly wants to rule the universe, and Dan has to thwart him. But anyway, there's three different versions of the game, and they're all very, very different. There's not playthroughs or anything like that, because I only ever briefly played the Spectrum version back in the day. Wasn't much good at it. I've managed to get a little bit further in it today, which you'll see. Amstrad Commodore 64 version's totally new to me, that I only played for the first time today, so you ain't going to see anything fantastic from me on them. It's just to show you what they're like, and for you and me to share memories of whatever version it was that you owned. Right, let's get on with it. Spectrum first. Okay, here we go. We're kicking off with the Spectrum version of Dan Dare, Pilot of the Future. This was by a gang of five, released by Virgin Games in 1986, as you can see. Now, the plot of it is Dan Dare has got to go and thwart the evil, big-headed space bastard Mekon's plan to throw an asteroid into the Earth by detonating it from within inside. You've got to find 5 bits of the self-destruct system and place it in the machinery within the asteroid, and then hotfoot it out of there, I presume. Right, Q, A, O, P and space are the controls. Please, 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 as ever, shout out with your memories of this game. So, I'm going to press space and get into it. Now, there's not an awful lot of sound in the Spectrum version of Dan Dare, but it does look really, really good. In fact, it looks fantastic. So Dan can jump, he can crouch. Down at the bottom you've got the time limit. You've got 2 hours to find all the bits of the detonator and place them in the machine. You've got stamina as well, as you can see, which takes a hit every time you take a hit. And you've got limited ammunition, as shown by that ruler bit, that ruler sort of thingy there. You don't lose lives as such. You fall unconscious and you end up in prison for like 10 minutes or something like that. Now, first things first, we've got to go and find the first piece of the thing, which I think is this way. Ah, see, these now the graphics on this are really, really nice and colourful, big, bold, really, really good style to them. That's the first bit of the detonator. Now I've got to take it to the self-destruct system. Now, I didn't know this game too well back in the day. Oh, every now and then down the bottom you'll see Mekon down there having a boast and beseeching me to put that down, which I'm not going to do, because obviously I cannot blow up the asteroid without it. You can see my energy's almost all down. If it goes all the way down, I end up in prison and I lose 10 minutes. Bollocks. That was right at the bit where I wanted to be, basically. So let's go down that way again. Now you can see my ammunition is running out. There is some somewhere. It's a game that really you sort of needed to map, I think. I know I didn't know this game fantastically well back in the day. What's that? Oh, no, I don't want to go up there. No. Oh, I'm in the wrong bit, ain't I? Right, so I've got some extra energy, but my ammo is running out. I can't remember where to bloody go. Is it this way? Now, one of the problems with the game is that, you know, if a train sort of like comes quite close to you, like as you enter or exit a screen, and there's one right there. You can't avoid them, and they sap your energy. And also, once you're out of ammunition, you can't really do anything to avoid them, and you find yourself over and over again sort of being thrown in prison. Right, we're near the self-destruct machine. There it is there. I've just got to walk in here and put that in there. Oh, gonna desperately need some ammo in a minute. So now that's opened a door that allows me into the next sector of the game, which I think, if I can remember rightly, is up here somewhere. Yep. So now I'm in sector 2, as you can see. Oh shit. Yeah, so that's taken another 10 minutes off me, as you can see. Not cricket, is it? There's some more ammo that I really need. So to collect things, you just jump on them. Now these lifts, initially when I first started playing this game, I thought I had to sort of stand there and sort of jump up and down, and was wondering why it didn't work. But you have to walk at the shadow of the lift, or place yourself at the shadow of the lift, and then you can do it. Right, so but really good graphics, such great presentation on this game. Really is good. Now there are occasions where you can get the trins sort of accidentally sort of shooting each other. They don't sort of get the ump with each other like they comically used to, like Ninja and Yamo did in Bruce Lee, but it's still quite funny. You see what I mean there? It was, as I entered the screen, there was a train running right towards me, and I couldn't get out of his way. Whoa! But yeah, this is Spectrum version is really good. Could do with some more sounds and noises and stuff, but you know, you can't have everything, I suppose. But this was 1986, so quite why there was not a sort of 128 sort of soundtrack, I don't know. It's down to them. It was their game. Oh, I'm dead again. Right, okay. Kind of forgotten where I've got to go on this now. I have managed to get the second bit, but I've forgotten where it was. No, not that way. But yeah, the animation and the sort of character of Dan Dare is really great. As is, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, I'm just there anyway. Oh, right. Well, I've just found a shortcut. Oh, now you can't fall too far as Dan, obviously, as you can see just there. Let's go back up that way. What's through here? Can't remember. Oh, that's the room where I got the ammunition. But yeah, obviously, you know, memory is going to play a big part in this map required, etc., where all the bits and pieces are. You know, ammunition and stuff is in scant supply. So, yeah, ammunition is in scant supply, and so is extra energy. So you really got to be careful. So when you're shooting, you don't really want to keep your finger permanently pressed down on the fire button. You want to just sort of like do gentle taps. But this is really good game. So yeah, just sort of showing you what the basic sort of mechanics of it are really. Oh, but really nice graphics there when you kill a train. You know, you see them sort of disappear when they get zapped. Just wandering about now. I've forgotten where I've got to go. No, I've been this way before. That's a dead end through there, isn't it? No, it isn't. No, I've got to jump that and land on there. Right. And then go through here. Oh, right. There's the second bit. So, some more energy there, which I'm probably going to need. Yeah, just in time that. Oh, you see what I mean? They came right into the room there. Oh dear. A leap of faith, Dan. No, right. Well, that's actually probably helped me, even though it's taken 10 minutes off my time, because it means I can go back. Oh, for God's sake. Ah, arseholes. Right. But yeah, please shout out your memories of Dan Dare for the ZX Spectrum. You see Meekon every now and then, he appears in the bottom of the screen and taunts you, you know. Your mother was a warthog and your father smelled of elderberries. Right. So yeah, totally sort of devoid of sound other than that squishy sort of farty laser sound. And you see another door is open somewhere. Now I shot that treen about 7 times and he didn't die, the bastard. Right, okay, there we go. Dan Dare for the Spectrum. That's as far as I've managed to get. Let's move on to the Amstrad. Okay, here we are. Dan Dare Pilot of the Future, the Amstrad CPC version. Released in 1986, Virgin Games. This is a completely different game from the Spectrum version. And the plot of it would seem to be that Dan's co-pilot Digby has been captured and incarcerated by the Meekon and Treens on some weird planet somewhere. And Dan has to find various parts of a drawbridge, various platform pieces, scattered throughout the gameplay arena, return to where the dungeon area is, build them, free him, then make his way to the rocket where they can escape back to Earth. Totally different from the Spectrum version. And I actually think, you know, kudos to that they've gone out of their way to actually provide the Amstrad with a unique version of a game rather than a lazy port of a Spectrum game. Let's get into it and see what it's like. Right, first things first, when I first sort of saw this, I was like, oh, but the more I sort of play it, I actually quite like this graphical style now. You know, the squat sort of character, he moves really quickly, as you can see. You can crouch, you can jump, Dan, jump, that's it. He can jump. And you seem to have unlimited ammo in this one. You can see the stamina down in the bottom there. I think the overall presentation of the Spectrum version is far better, but this does have things going for it, such as you can fire upwards and diagonally, which is really good. But yeah, it's got the same sort of like lift mechanic there, as you can see, but it is, the Amstrad version is its own game. Ah, I keep falling down that fucking hole. Yeah, it sounds good. It plays okay. It's not fantastic, I don't think. But, you know, I don't think any Amstrad owners back in the day would have been unhappy. Now, that I've just collected there is one of those blocks I was talking about, those sort of platform blocks I've got to use to try and free Digby with. Now, you're going to see that I not only suck big time at this. No, that's not it. That's not where I've got to go. You know, the control can be quite finicky because he moves so fast, and that can cause problems at times with things like this, like little sort of jumps that you've got to make. I've done it there. Oh, bloody hell. It's this one that I usually mess up, I think. No, he's done it. He's cooking. I haven't got a Scooby where I go from here. I did find Digby once, but I was just sort of like wandering it. Oh, I got caught by a tree. Ah, I've got to do all that bit again. Right, yeah, same thing. You get captured, you get thrown in jail. You see what I mean about it being a bit finicky. And if you fall down those, you end up back in the jailhouse. Like that! Oh, for God's sake. So yeah, it can be, I don't know if it can be played with keys, probably can. I should really have checked, shouldn't I? Is there anything down here? I've been down here before, haven't I? Yeah, same as the Spectrum version, you'll need a map to save yourself constantly sort of wandering around like this. But, you know, it's not bad. I don't think anyone would have been unhappy with this. Ah! It's happening all the time. Poor old Baz. No, it's this way, isn't it? sure it's this way. Now, I did briefly watch a... Ah, I see you done a double jump there. I did briefly watch a segment of this game on YouTube, but I tend to try not to look at things, you know, on YouTube unless I really have to, unless I just can't fathom out what needs to be done. And this was one of them. I initially sort of went into this thinking it was going to be just a straightforward version of the Spectrum game, but like you can see, it's not. Far from it. There are some similarities. Now, well, my giddy aunt. Well, that actually might have helped me, because I think I might be near the part where I have to go and find the block. No, I'm not, am I? Yes, I am. Right. So sometimes actually falling unconscious and going into jail can be a bit of a tactic, because it can get you near to where you need to be. All right, it loses your time. Right. Hey, he's just done a double. He keeps doing a double jump there, you little fat spaceman. Oh, right. Right, successfully navigated that one. And that one, right. Okay, now I might be getting somewhere, am I? No, don't look like it, does it? Oh, it might be, actually. Ah! All because I bounced off that flipping thing. Oh, and I'm all the sodding way back. And again! That's the kind of thing that would have frustrated me sort of greatly back in the day. You know, and it's my game playing prowess, or lack of it, that's to cause there, I think, as opposed to, you know, the game. But it is an annoyance when that happens, as you... Oh, and I got shot. Right, that was Dan Dare for the Amstrad, completely different from the Spectrum version, and I think... I couldn't show you Digby again there, could I? I think it's great that they sort of decided, no, we're not just going to port the Spectrum version, we're going to give the Amstrad a game of its own with its completely different storyline, etc. You know, I can't remember that happening too often. If you're aware of any other games of the ilk that are completely different from version to version, please let me know, because I'd be intrigued to check some of them out. Okay, let's move on. Commodore 64. Okay, Dan Dare for the Commodore 64, again by Gang of Five, Virgin Games, 1986. Now, if you thought the Amstrad version was quite different from the Spectrum version, you are going to see that the Commodore 64 version is completely different to that version, those versions as well. Right, so let's press fire to play. I haven't got a clue what the plot of this is, other than you've got to sort of find a Mekon. Already you can sort of see it's different. You've got that sort of second character there, that fat sort of space aardvark thing. I haven't got a clue what it is, but his animations for the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes are quite amusing, but after a while it becomes a bit of a distraction, especially that sort of sound effect that accompanies him. But he does sort of fart at various points, so that's quite amusing. Now, this is completely different from the other versions in that it seems more kind of like a sort of arcade adventure thing. You've got to find items that can be used, etc. And I presume that once you got the hang of it, you know, it was really good. The graphics on it are nice and sort of chunky, much bigger sort of Dan Dare sprite than any of the other versions that you saw. Now, I'm trying to fight them. I haven't quite worked out the combat on this. It's a bit tricky, to say the least. But the Treen seems to, if you can just manage to get out of his way, he seems to just get bored and disappear. But really, really good presentation on it. You can use the vines to sort of go up and down, etc. You can also, by pressing up, I don't know what that stripy thing's doing there, rubbing himself up against that vine, dirty little bastard. Yeah, and I've tried like I say, I'm just trying to work this out for myself rather than sort of watch playthroughs, etc. Now, despite not sort of having a clue what's going on, it's actually quite, oh fuck me, I'm back there again. It's actually quite a sort of impressive game, you know. And again, as I said, for the Amstrad version, it's good that they've given each machine entirely a unique game. I've not got a clue what I'm doing here. Am I supposed to have cut that off? I can't get back up there now. Oh, right, okay. So that was by pressing up and fire. Now, Commodore 64 owners, please, please, please shout up with your memories of this game and what you thought of it, what it was like. Is there any sort of keyboard buttons there? That seems like a pause button. Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. We'll listen to the music for a bit while I try and figure out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. That's really good. Yeah, really, really quite good. Any key on the keyboard, from the sound of it, pauses the game and you get that really, really quite nice music there. I'm going to have to say I've not got a Scooby. What to do here? Right, okay. Can I send him through there? Because there's something there to collect. Right, how do I beat this bastard up? Right, I seem to be doing some punching now. Or am I? Come on, kick him in the nuts or something at least. I really, really don't know what's going on here. Ah, that's treating himself to a knee trembler. Ah, right, so it's diagonals. Ah, right, gotcha, you bastard. Now stay dead. I do hope they don't respawn. Right, so can I go down the vine? I should be able to, shouldn't I? Or is it only up? Is that just something that leads me here, is it? Aha, a vine. Oh, right, okay. Why have I cut off 3 vines? What do I do with them? I've got to do something with them. Come on, I want to climb down it. Right, I don't want to cut that in case I need it to... Oh! Shit. Ah. So I can see there's a good game in it. I'm buggered if I can fathom it out, though. You know, I think this is probably an example of, Baz, you should really have looked at something first before sort of playing it. But, you know, I can't really get much further than that. That's, you know, the first time I've ever played it, first sort of go, first impressions. We wouldn't have had the facility of, or the ability to consult YouTube back in the day, would we? So, yeah, that's Dan Dare for the Commodore 64. Not much of a showing of it. There's probably lots more there from the way it's presented and laid out. Let's move on to the outro. Welcome back. Right, there we have it. 3 different versions, 3 completely different versions of Dan Dare. Not the same game at all. And I think, like I said in the Amstrad segment, I think that's really, really great. I don't know of any other game that has 3 completely different games, different in style, different in presentation, all released under the same name at the same time. I think it's really, really good. And big up to Gang of 5 for doing that back in the day. Now, the Spectrum version looked fantastic. Still one of the best looking Spectrum games to this day. Play-wise, yeah, it gets a bit sort of repetitive after a while. They're all sort of very much memory games. But it's fairly easy to sort of pick up and get the hang of. Even for someone like me, as you saw, fairly sort of quickly I managed to find pieces of the destruct system, etc. 2 is as many as I ever managed to find. I really, really quite enjoyed it. I loved the graphics, the whole sort of comic book presentation of it. I thought it was really good. Could have done with a bit more sound though, that was the only thing, and sometimes it was a bit unfair, you know, the ammunition, whereas it sort of conserve ammunition, sometimes, or conserve your energy as well, you know, replenishments were scattered few and far between throughout the game. And your energy was a bit unfair at times as well. Like sometimes you'd just walk into a room, dog just yelped for a second there. You'd walk into a room and there'd be a treen right on top of you, and you couldn't avoid taking a hit and losing some energy. But a really, really, really good game. And the Amstrad version was totally different, as you saw. Fair amount of zip to it, a nice squat sort of character. When I first saw the game, I didn't like it that much. And going on to play it, like I said, I was a bit disappointed with the way the sort of trees were presented. They were just like these like floating sort of mini Mekons, etc. But it had some good things going for it. He really moved quite quickly. And some of the jumps were a bit finicky. Again, I don't know if that was me or whether or not that was actually a problem with the game. I suspect it was more me. In the Commodore 64 version, yeah, completely different again. A much more sort of adventure-y, collect items, use items, sort of affair. Really different again, and some wonderful music on the pause sections, as you heard. Yeah, I can't think of another game that has three totally different versions, and I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. Please let me know if I'm wrong and there are other examples. I'll be sort of happy to sort of take a look at them. But it's really professional all across the board. Each of them was playable. I'd say the Amstrad was probably the weakest of the three, but it wasn't a bad game at all. You know, you wouldn't have been disappointed with it, I suppose. Like I said, nice sort of colourful, chunky graphics, etc, etc. Right, as ever, all we want is to share discussions about that. Am I right, am I wrong in some of the things that I've said there? If you like the video, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. But if you do subscribe, as I always say, please join in with the discussions, because that's what it's all about. Thank you ever so much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.